I'm going to show you how to make a song on your phone using free samples from within BandLab.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure. Let's talk it through when we're sober.
So I've got BandLab open on my phone, and the first thing I'll do is open up the studio. From here, I'm going to click on BandLab Sounds, and I'm going to be using my new sample pack. So it's Coleman Presents Late Nights. So I'm going to click on the sample pack, and now I'm just going to listen to some samples from within the pack and see which one catches my ear so we can choose a sample to start our song with. So I want to build our song around the sample because I can hear a lot of ideas to it right now. So I'm going to click plus, and that'll pull it into our session. Now I'm going to click this light red segment on our grid, and I'm going to drag this to loop our sample. Now I just want to add some drums to this so we have a little bit of rhythm. So I'm going to go back into our samples, and I'm going to add some percussion. So let's listen to some of these. I'm going to add that. And I'm just going to turn the volume of this sample up a little bit. Now I want to add a drum pattern. So I'm going to click plus, and then I'm going to add a drum machine. I like the way this boom bap classic sounds, so I'm going to click on this. And then now I'm going to add our pattern in. I'm going to first start by adding our hi-hat on every eighth note. Next we're going to add in our snare. I don't. Now our kick. Then I'm going to add in pattern B. And then on pattern B, we're just going to change the kick pattern a little bit. So we get this from A, and then this from B. And then I'll click and hold, and I'll select both of these, paste them like this. I'm going to copy them again. Paste them over here. Cool. Now we have our pattern. We're going A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. On this fourth one, I'm going to add a new pattern in. Then I'm going to copy pattern B, paste it on pattern C, but this one will add a little bit of fill in the last section. Like this. Cool. So I'm happy with how our drum pattern is sounding. Now I want to record a lead vocal, and to do that, I'm going to hit plus, then I'll hit voice and audio, and then now I just had to hit record.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
And then stop the recording by hitting record again, and then now we have this vocal.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go.
Now that we have our vocal recorded, I'm going to click effects. First thing I'll do is click auto pitch, and then from here we can select the key of the song, which is C major, and then I can just mess around with the percentage to see how much tuning I think my vocal needs.
Just stay the night and don't go there. I know it.
Sounds good to me. Cool. Now that I have the tuning all figured out, I'm going to click on the effects right here. And then now I'm going to slide over to vocals, and we can figure out which vocal chain we think sounds best on our vocals. And so to do that, I'll click play, and then I'll just tap through different ones until I find one that I think sounds right for my vocal on this song. So let's do that now.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober. Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there.
That sounds pretty good, but I want to hear the volume a little louder, so I'll click on this, turn the volume up.
Don't tell me that we're over.
And so I think modern pop sounds really good on this vocal, but I do want to hear a little bit more reverb, so I'm going to edit this preset a little bit by clicking on this. Then I'm going to go over, and I'm going to add a little bit more reverb on top of this. So I'll slide over, reverb, and then I'm going to use the studio reverb. And I'm gonna adjust the mix and the size. So
Don't tell me that we're
I'm gonna increase the size a bit,
just stay the night and don't go
down a little bit.
I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
That sounds good to me.
Don't tell me.
Now I want to record a higher harmony vocal on top of this lead. And so to save time, I'm going to swipe over and I'm going to duplicate our vocal track. That way I can already have all those effects and whatnot on it. But I'll delete this vocal take and we'll record our high on top of that now. And for the high, I'm only going to sing on certain words. And I'm doing this just to kind of accent and give more feeling and kind of power to certain words in the hook. And then to make it so I can hear kind of how the vocals are sounding, I can click this headphone button to monitor my vocals, and that just makes it kind of easier when I'm recording.
Don't tell me that we're over, just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober. Don't
Click stop, and then now we have that high. And then I'm also gonna adjust our preset a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to go in and turn the reverb up. And I really just want this vocal to be a little quieter so the lead still feels the most powerful. And then I want it to feel farther away. And so to do that, I'm going to turn the mix up on our reverb. And you'll hear this just kind of makes it feel like it's farther away now.
Don't tell me that we're over, just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
Now what we're going to do is I want to double this hook, and on the second time around we're going to have it build in intensity. And before I do that, I'm going to cut a little space out before I duplicate this. So to do that, I'm just going to go like this, kind of bring back all the sounds except the vocals on this last bar, and then let the space cut out like this.
I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
Now on the second half, I want to add in a sub bass. And so to do that, I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to use a virtual instrument. Then I'll click on 808s, and we're going to pick our 808. I think analog desk will probably sound good, so we're going to try that out first. Click on that. Now that we have the keyboard pulled up for 808, I'm going to click play and then figure out what our pattern's going to be. And then when I know what the notes are, I'm going to click record to record that pattern in.
Don't tell me that we're over, just stay the night.
Cool, so I have my pattern figured out, and so now I'll click record and record it in.
Don't tell me that we're over, just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
Cool, so now that I have my pattern, I'm going to crop this, and then I'm going to go in, click and hold. That'll bring up this icon that I can click on to select everything, and then from there I can click on a note, hit Q, and I can choose what I want to quantize it to. So I'm going to quantize this to the 8th note, and I'm doing this just to tighten the timing up of my recording. Because I'm not perfect, I can do this to make it fit perfectly on the grid with the kick, the hat, and the snares.
Don't tell me that we're over, just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
So I actually think I just want the 808 to come in on the second half and not be on the first half. Then on this first half, I also want to differentiate it a little bit with the guitar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swipe over. We're going to duplicate our guitar track. I'm going to move this up. So these are close to each other. Click these arrows, just keep moving this up. And then I'm going to delete the guitar here on this track and here on the other track. So we have one on the top, one on the bottom. Then for the guitar on the first half, we're going to click effects, click plus, swipe over to tone. Then I'm going to use the multi-filter. On our filter, I'm going to move this from low pass to band pass. What this means is we can cut out the lows and the highs of this. So I'm going to go like this.
Don't tell me that we're over, just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober. Don't tell me.
So let's solo the guitar so you can hear what's going on here. You can hear it's letting only some of the frequencies through. If I turn off the filter, all the guitar comes through. But with it filtered, only certain parts going through. So it's on bandpass, and we can adjust the frequency to determine what we want to go through the filter. And the resonance will essentially adjust how intense the curves are for the filter. To give this a little sauce though, after the filter, I'm gonna add a little bit of distortion. So we're gonna go over to distortion. We can do distortion plus plus. Then I'm gonna essentially do the same thing to the drums. So I'm gonna swipe over, I'm gonna duplicate the drums, move those up. Then I'm gonna save the band passing effect we did for the guitar as a preset. And I'm just gonna call this band pass with distortion. Now I can go onto our drums and I can just add that same effect to the drums. And so this is what they sound like band passed versus non-band passed. And the last thing I want to add on the second half to differentiate it is an additional high vocal just to make the vocals feel like they also lift. Now we're going to turn the monitoring on and click record.
Let's talk it through when we're sober. Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
6. So now we're going to go in and just move this over so it only comes in on the second half. Let's bring this down in volume a little bit. Now I want this to transition a little bit smoother into the second half, and to do that, we're gonna go into BandLab Sounds, go to my sample pack, and then I'm gonna click on this vocal and add it in. Then I'm gonna reverse it, and now I can move this over. I'm gonna cut off the tip of this, and then I'm gonna use this as a reverse fill into the second half, so like this. And we'll turn the volume of this up a bit.
When we're sober, don't tell me.
Then we're gonna go into the effects on this, and I wanna add some delay and a little bit of reverb. So I'll click plus, go over delays, click ping pong delay, have it on the 8th note, turn the feedback up a bunch, cut off down a little bit, mix up a bunch, volume down a little bit. Let's hear this.
Don't tell me that we're over.
Then I just wanna add a bit of reverb after our delay. So we'll go to reverb. We can just use univerb, move this up to a hall, turn our reverb up a bunch. Now we have this.
Need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober. Don't tell me that we're over.
Last thing I want to hear on this vocally is just an ad lib. So we'll duplicate our lead vocal track one more time, delete this take.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober. Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
Now I'm going to go into the effects on our ad lib, and then we're going to add a ping pong delay, and we're going to have this one be on the half note. And the mix will be up a lot with the feedback up a bunch, and then we can click play.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
Turn our feedback down a little bit. We can turn the volume of this down quite a bit now.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
On the end, I'm just going to turn the reverb up quite a bit, feedback down a bit, cut off down a bit.
Let's talk it through when we're sober.
Cool, and so that's everything I hear on this track. Now let's just play it back from the top.
Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober. Don't tell me that we're over. Just stay the night and don't go there. I know you need closure, but let's talk it through when we're sober.
So there you have it. We picked our one sound in the beginning, and then we built our entire track around that sample. I am so excited to have my new sample pack out on BandLab, and I'm even more excited to hear what you all create with it. And as always, happy producing.